So Don, where are we at right now?
We're on Parker Bridge. This was the only link between Parker's Island and the Phillips Community.
Okay.
Now it's Rivertown. Before this was a pecan plantation, and they made bricks over here.
Oh, okay.
That's how the Hallback made their money.
Okay.
From bricks in the pecan groves.
Now I'm having a hard time, Don, imagining y'all playing in this water though. Y'all used to jump in this water?
Yes, used to play in it, but the water didn't look like this.
Okay.
All this came after they built the golf course in Rivertown.
Got you.
You know, and what we did, we used to crabbing off the bridge, fish, shrimping, you know, right out here.
This was almost like a community point, like everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This was a rite of passage. You come and learn how to swim off of this bridge.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it had all the necessities. In the summertime, you plant, you have your garden,
Right.
and you utilize the creek.
Right.
In the wintertime, you go over here, you gather wood, because everybody, you know, burn wood, the heat,
Right.
and you hunt. So it's you always had food on the table from the landscape.
Right.
You know, like everybody now, well, you're going back organic. Well,
Right.
we was doing organic, you know, back in the day when it wasn't cool to be organic.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah. My name is Richard Habersham. Some people in the community call me Don. I'm the president of the Phillips Community Association. We've been in existence now since 1999. Okay. And that's a history by itself. We got started because of water tank. They wanted to put a water tank in our community that Dunes West didn't want. So we got organized to fight water tank. We lost, but we got credibility about it from the county and from Mount Pleasant.
Okay. So tell me about the history, because you told me that this goes back a long time.
Yes.
So tell me about the history of this place.
Well, the earliest date we have of the Phillips community is in the late 1600s when Sarah and Robert Fenwick got a King's grant and got 550 acres, which now is the Phillips community. And from Sarah and Robert, they didn't have no kids, so they deeded the property to their niece, Sarah Hex. She married to John Rutledge. You know, you have John and Edward Rutledge, signing the Declaration of Independence, the U.S. Constitution. Yeah. This is their birthplace.
Okay.
They got this plantation through their mother. It was Sarah Hex that owned this, but John Rutledge married to Sarah Hex. John Rutledge sold it to the Hallbacks. In 1875, Elizabeth Hallback sold the property to my ancestors and the founding members of the Phillips community.
And so that's about your family really goes back to about the 1800s.
1875, I can date it back to my great-grandfather, Hercules Geddes, and he was one of the founding members of the Phillips community.
We took a walk with Mr. Habersham to discover the richness of this historic community.
Now, we got a tomb in the middle of the community. We haven't found out exactly who it was. We were just thinking that it probably was the Fenwicks. Yeah, you can see the top part of the tomb. See the tomb right there? You can see it?
Oh, this is?
Yeah, this is the tomb. Now, when I was younger, it was a door. It was a wooden door in the front, and the whole thing was enclosed.
So what was it like as a child growing up in the Phillips community?
I didn't know I was poor until I left here. I tell you the truth, that's what it was. Because, you know, it ain't so that you was hungry or you didn't have, because everybody had business saying. You had a roof, you had kids, you had siblings, you had cousins, and you had the neighbors and everything. And everybody was your parents around here, no matter what house you went to. So your parents always knew what you did and where did you go to.
Right. So tell me about the people that are moving in, because Mount Pleasant has changed dramatically over the last 30, 40 years. What is the Phillips community like today? Who makes up this community?
The community is still about 90% black. Okay. But you have Caucasian moving daily. Because like one of my neighbors say, well, they prefer living over here because they don't want to go in the subdivision. If you look at this house over here to your up in front, they just moved here about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're from Canada.
Oh, from Canada?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like the area, they have no restriction, see out the little fence.
Yeah.
And notice now, they have a fence, but they don't have a privacy fence.
Right.
So they moved in as members. Yeah. A lot of people move in, and the first thing they put up a privacy fence. They're here, but they're not here. You know, they don't want to be a part of the community.
Right. Do you feel like people still, want that community sense?
Yeah. The older folks like my age, or even in people in the 40s, it's still like sense of the community. Because we have some youngsters, they want to come back, but they can't.
Right. And why can't they come back?
No property.
According to the town of Mount Pleasant, the average home in the year 2000 was valued at $185,500. The U.S. Census 2019 data values today's average home at $441,600. The rise in home values parallel with a steady decrease to an already vulnerable African American population and an increase to Mount Pleasant's overall white population.
That's out of range for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Even I talked to some of my white neighbors and everything. They said that if they had to buy a home now, they couldn't afford to live over here.
Right. And what's making the price jump up so high?
That quality of life. Everybody think that Mount Pleasant is the best thing since sliced bread. If you notice over here again, you close to somebody, but you're not up on somebody. Right. You got space enough to do different things with your property.
But you're also close enough that if you need to get to town center or downtown, it ain't like no hour-long drive.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, we're close enough, and that's what everybody want. It's like this guy, and he's actually a friend of ours. He's an architect, and he told us years ago. He said, "Well, Rich, don't think of this a racial thing, because it's not. It's an economic thing, because you got people who got more money than you want your property."
Right.
And that's the truth.
Right.
And that's the way we look at it.
Right.
They want what we have because they see that we have something good.
Right. Do you feel like it's just economics? Do you feel like it's just about money?
Yep, I think it's more about money.
Okay. A closer examination of wealth finds staggering evidence of racial disparities. At $171,000, the net worth of a typical white family is nearly 10 times greater than that of a black family. This gap reveals the effects of accumulated inequality and discrimination, as well as differences in power and opportunity that can be traced back to this nation's inception. Efforts that have been impeding communities like Phillips in a host of ways. Beginning with 246 years of chattel slavery, the congressional mismanagement of the Freedmen's Savings Bank, leaving 61,000 depositors with losses of nearly $3 million in 1874. Followed by violent massacres decimating thriving black communities such as Tulsa's Greenwood District and the Wilmington, North Carolina community. Discriminatory policies throughout the 20th century, including the Jim Crow era's black codes, strictly limiting opportunity in many southern states. The GI Bill, the New Deal's Fair Labor Standards Act's exemption of domestic, agricultural, and service occupations, and redlining. Wealth was taken from these communities before it had the opportunity to grow, creating a society where the people with more money, rather than the lifelong residents of the Phillips community, have a habitual advantage, while the black communities surrounding them remain vulnerable.
Look at like that road situation over here.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you brought, because I want to bring that up. So talk to us about 41. We've been talking about 41, but now we can see it. It's a 2-lane highway now, but if it were to extend to 4 or 5 lanes, how close would it be to this house?
All right, with 5 lane, if you look at the plan, most of the expansion will be on this side.
Okay.
And from the plan what I'm seeing, it'll be 15 feet away from this house.
15 feet from this
house. 15 feet.
That'll take us to what? About this tree, this car?
Yeah, but this car here. You're looking at, all this will be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the trail over here and the little old store,
right.
All that'll be right up next to them.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. So you see, who wants to live that close? And you hear how noisy this road is now.
Right.
And you have 4 lane of traffic.
Right.
And they said they'll speed up the traffic. Other safety part, speed limit is 45 miles an hour as it is. The average speed is about 55 coming through here. So you got 4 lanes of road, you know that's going to increase the speed limit.
Right.
Now, if you look at this is a cousin, that's a first cousin, that's a first cousin, that's a first cousin.
Okay.
All these are family members.
Right.
So
you are literally driving a wedge between families.
Yeah. Yes. And you make one community, 2 communities, because the people on that side is not going to come on this side. over a period of time, people are going to disappear because the next generation, they don't want to live by a highway. The thing with 41 started back in 2000 with the town of Mount Pleasant and their long-range plan. When we found out about it, we stepped up to the plate and we designed our own plan. What we came up with a 3-lane road. You have 3 lanes, 1 lane going south, 1 going north, and you have that center lane, that turn lane. Because right now the problem on 41 is making a left-hand turn. Another part, you got a lot of kids in the community. It's hard enough to go across 2 lanes of traffic. So now if you do a 4-lane traffic, that's a death trap.
Yeah.
That's a death trap for our kids. Like one lady in Doonesville, I put in the newspaper a few weeks ago, saying that, well, it'll be unsafe if you run the 4-lane through their neighborhood. What they're saying, our kids don't matter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, put it over in Phillips, their kids don't matter, but my kid does matter.
Right. Right.
You know, and if they put it through there and go 7A, which will go through Dunwest Boulevard and go around Phillips, and don't touches nobody home. And the closest they say they get to our property line is about 50 feet, and then they'll have a sound wall barrier.
Yeah.
So the safety issue is already built into that. Here, it wouldn't be no sound barrier.
Right.
Here's another part to it. A lot of people don't make no whole lot of money, but they make enough money to sustain themselves. So now you imagine, you may take someone making $15, $20 an hour who got a home, and they're living, got a quality of life. You take their home away from them. So what you just did, just throw them in poverty because now they got to pay rent. City of Charleston said they got an affordable home. A 1-bedroom, that's $1,100.
Right.
$1,100.
Right.
How many people think that they will make $15 to $20 an hour, going to afford $1,100, got a kid, got to pay a car note,
Right.
Rent, and all this other stuff.
Right.
So you just push them into poverty. You know, then you have to figure out, if I'm going to eat or pay my rent. I'm going to take my kid to the doctor, or I could throw a bandage on them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
all that comes from that road.
Yeah.
Mount Pleasant don't care, and some of the people in Dune West just don't care. Only thing they care about themselves. If you create the problem, you solve it on your property. Don't solve it on my back.
Right. Yeah.
And that's our thing is. Look at 17.
Yeah.
All along 17, there was homes. I grew up, there was community homes over there. You don't see that no more.
Yeah. There's a Home Depot where Lang used to be at.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. And are you afraid that if this road continues to expand, that your community is going to go
be
that
the same way.
Yeah.
Because we've seen it.
Heirs property is a significant issue in South Carolina, especially in the coastal communities. With an increase in commercial developed interests, heirs property owners have lost their land for lack of clear title or timely tax payments. Most heirs property in the Lowcountry is land that was acquired by African Americans after emancipation. Much of this land has been passed down through generations without a will, so that the land is owned in common by multiple heirs. This unstable form of ownership puts this land at high risk for loss because any heir can sell his or her percentage of ownership to another who can face the sale of the entire property in court, losing not only the family land, but family history.